it's Ruth, and today I want to talk to you on this video about meditation. So you may be tuning into this because you are thinking that you want to try meditation, or that you're completely skeptical about meditation and you want to leave me horrible comments, or alternatively that you've maybe tried meditation, whatever you were doing didn't work, it wasn't a consistent practice, and then you ended up dropping it. So I'm speaking to you from a place of not a meditation teacher, but I have been meditating solidly for 6 years. And I think out of those 6 years, I've maybe missed like 10 days in total. So I would say that I've been very consistent with it, and I've found a way to make it work. And obviously the positive effects it's had has helped me to keep consistent with it. So I'm going to give you three different sorts of meditation practices that I've tried, which I think would help anyone on the scale, whether you're a complete skeptic about meditation like I was, or whether you're looking to devote a longer time to your practice. Wherever you are, I think one of these 3 ways is going to help you, hopefully in some way, to bring meditation into your life and keep it there once you've got it in. So just to give you a little bit of background about, like I say, I started meditating around 6 years ago, and I think that the reason that I began meditating, just to give you, I'll try not to go too long on this. So my husband started to meditate because he was very stressed. There was a meditation centre near where we live. It was kind of like known as we were growing up as a bit of a woo-woo weird place where people would go and kind of like sit in lotus position and do yogic flying, which I'll put a link to below so you can just watch how funny it is to see. And so there was a lot of like kind of skepticism, and like I thought, like, is meditating a cult? Is it a religion? What am I getting into if I start to meditate? But he went and learned, and I saw the huge, like, really positive impacts that it had on him. So, you know, that was great for him. I personally wasn't in a place where I wanted to do it then. He would try and get me to do it and kind of maybe, you know, not put pressure on me, but just would say, oh, you should try meditating. And I'd be like, no, I don't want to. It's your thing. Like, I'm not interested. So I think it was maybe about like 2 years after he'd kind of just been like, okay, you know, that's fine, I'll just do it. And I could see the positive effects it was having on him. But for me, I was just like, I don't need to meditate. I was kind of skeptical about the whole thing, and yeah, just didn't feel like it was for me. So yeah, fast forward like 2 years after, like I say, I was having a really tough time in work. I'd been to this meeting in London, and I was so stressed, and I was like in tears on the train on the way home, and I felt desperate. I was just like, oh, I feel awful. I feel like I've got no grounding, no tools, nothing to help me to feel better, and I was just at my wit's end. And like, when you're crying on a train back from London, like, that's kind of embarrassing as well. And I just thought, oh, I need something's got to help me with this. So it was a couple of weeks after that the David Lynch documentary about transcendental meditation and creativity was getting shown at this meditation centre near where we live. And I just thought, you know what, I've got nothing to lose, go and watch the film, and it'll be an interesting film. And then I didn't really think that I was going to be like up for meditating after. I was just said yes from my gut. And then went to watch the film, really enjoyed it, loved the way it talked about unleashing creativity and dispelled a lot of myths about meditation. So after watching that, about a month later, I learned to meditate. So I learned to do Transcendental Meditation, which is the first form of meditation I'll talk about. So Transcendental Meditation was brought over from the East by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, and, you know, as he brought it over, it became very popular. There were lots of kind of cult figures like the Beatles were doing it, and it kind of gained this big following, and there was a movement towards it in the UK. And it's a very simple technique. It's, you know, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. I don't always do both, but I always do at least one. Definitely my 20 minutes in the morning. And the idea is that it's a mantra-based meditation. So you are given a mantra, which is a Vedic sound or word. Hopefully I've got that technically right. And you're given that's something that you keep, which is sacred to you. And that's something that you use. So as you're doing the meditation and thoughts come up, yes, it's not about emptying your mind. You're going to have loads and loads of thoughts in meditation. And it's just something to help you brings you back the mantra brings you back. So just as naturally as you would think a thought, you would naturally think your mantra and keep coming back to that. So that's the type of meditation that I learned, and as I say, I'd learned that about 6 years ago, probably to the day, and it was an incredible experience to learn that. And David Lynch has been a massive sort of champion of Transcendental Meditation in the Western world recently, and he has been helping veterans and school children to use the techniques to help them with stress and anxiety, and also PTSD and those sorts of things as well. So it's an incredible technique, and obviously it's a technique that you go and learn. So someone who is a teacher who's trained gives you the skills and the knowledge and sets you up to be able to then go home and do that for the rest of your life if you want to. But there is a payment that you make to learn it, and so that potentially does put some people off. I can understand that, because you know, there's this whole thing of, if things are spiritual, should they be free? My argument would be that if you are learning a skill, like if I want to go to a yoga class, I would be happy to pay for that yoga class. So I was happy to pay, based on salary and where you're at in your life, an amount to learn the technique, which has served me so well for 6 years afterwards, and hopefully will be for many years going forward. So that's the sort of meditation that I learned, and I think that the most important thing that when I reflect on my meditation experience is that, like, we all know the bad things about religion. We don't need to go into religion. Meditation isn't a religion, but it offers, I would say, one of the positive aspects of religion without all of the bad stuff as such, or the feeling like you're becoming part of something, you have to follow rules and you go to church. You know, it's taking the best part, I would say, and in a secular society where I'd say most of the people that I know aren't following religion or going to church or having some sort of sacred time in their lives. And I think that that's what meditation gives you, is this time just to be, to really sort of take a breath, just sit quietly. Like, and another thing is, you don't have to sit cross-legged on a purple cushion while you're meditating. Like, I'm sat in a chair here, just with my legs down like a normal chair, and I could just close my eyes now as I'm doing, and I could begin my meditation. Or I can sit up in bed and do my meditation. So it's not this sort of cliched vision of what a meditator looks like. And I'd say that it gives you that time. And when was the last time, and I'd love to know this, and maybe like leave me some comments, when was the last time you actually sat down and were totally quiet, without music, without television, without a book, without something, without a cup of tea, and you just literally just sat with your breath, with your mind, with your body, and you just felt like you were in touch with yourself? Like, I always think that in a world where we're never really out of touch anymore, especially with mobile phones and social media, we're never out of touch. And so I would say, when do we ever have time to really get in touch with ourselves? And I think that that's the greatest gift that meditation has given me, is that quiet time, just to feel grounded and calm. It's as simple as that, quiet time. If you don't want to call it meditation, let's call it quiet time. And it just gives you that chance just to be with yourself and to kind of witness the core self, which is behind all of those thoughts, all of those clouds that are sort of floating by and can dominate the mind when you're in your active day. So the main things that I noticed on a practical level after I learned to meditate, when I learned my TM practice, was that I was a lot calmer when I came out of it. I had a lot more clarity, and I was able to hold myself in situations that were pressurized or that were difficult or stressful. And even small things like just like when I would go shopping, and all the shopping would be on the conveyor belt and I'd be on my own, and you feel that little bit of pressure and you're like, oh, I need to get all the shopping in the thing. And I just felt so much calmer, and everything was more considered and just mindful, which was a lovely feeling on a small, silly level of those sorts of things, as well as being on a bigger level. And I would say that it isn't always easy to stay consistent with it. And there will be days when you don't want to do it, when you think, oh, I don't want to do my meditation, I'm not in the mood, why should I have to do it? I would say it's like going to the gym or any other sort of practice where if you want to see the benefits of it, you know, the consistency in showing up is really key. And I can see that over 6 years that, you know, me staying consistent with it has really helped me in my life and helped to reduce my stress levels and my anxiety and give me a stronger foundation to work from in my active day. Like we often say in the TM practice that it's like pulling the bow back, pulling the arrow back on the bow, so that in your meditation you are pulling back so that when you go into activity afterwards, you've got that sort of momentum and that energy, which is a really nice way of thinking about it, I think. So probably talked for quite a while about my TM practice, but there are other practices. If you don't want to go to a TM teacher and learn TM and commit that time each day, and you want to maybe do a little bit more spiritual shopping, as some people call it, and try some other things out, I've got a couple of other things. So number 2 is guided meditations on apps, online, on YouTube are amazing. So the 2 that I would recommend are Headspace, which is an incredible guided meditation app that you can use. You can find some free ones online. I think there's some on The Guardian. I'll post a link to that one. That's a sleep meditation that you can try for free. I think there's some sort of free trial in the app as well. So they are shorter, like 10 minutes, I think, guided meditations for different times and different situations. So they are incredible. You can just put your headphones in. I think that it can be a good introduction rather than just sitting in complete silence, having that guided voice. And he's an English guy with this really nice voice, which helps. So they are very good. I definitely recommend them, and I'll put a link to them below for you. And then also as well, the other one that I was going to recommend is somebody called John Kabat-Zinn. I will post a link to where you can find more of his stuff below. You can find lots of it on YouTube, which is great. And he's a really amazing Buddhist-centered scientist who has set up this mindfulness practice and really brought mindfulness into the West. And he's got some incredible body scans, which are where you basically lie down on your bed and you go all the way from your toes and you go all through the parts of your body, right up into your head, and it feels incredible, like it's really nice. So I would say that I've listened to lots of his online books, I've done his body scans, I've done his meditations for pain, for stress, and they're incredible. So I would definitely recommend those, and I'll put links to those below for you as well. And then thirdly are what I call micro meditations. And they are not something that I've learned from anyone else, kind of picked them up here and there and everywhere. And they are like mini, tiny, like seconds, a minute, 2-minute meditation practices, breath work, different things that you can do on the go, or if you've not got that time to dedicate to just sit down and either do like an app-based or learn TM. One of the nicest ones that I find to do, which is just something that really works for me, is that if I'm feeling stressed or before I go into a very like active dynamic situation, I literally just put I can do this lying down or in a chair, you just put your hand like on your chest, and then you put your other hand, which you can't see, just like on your tummy here, and then you just breathe into that, and then just really breathe into the belly. So on the breath in, focus on breathing into the belly and feeling the belly rise, which is really nice, and on the breath out you feel the belly fall back, and you really tune in to the kind of energy that's going on in your body, which is a really nice thing to do as well. So I hope that has been helpful for you. I'm aware that this video has run a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but yeah, if you want to try any of those, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anything else that you guys are doing that is working for you, and any other types of meditation apps or body scans or anything that you think it would be worth me checking out, please comment below. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and just don't beat yourself up about if you miss a meditation or you've dropped off and you want to get back into it. Just give it a try some of the things that I've mentioned, and I'd love to hear how you get on. So I'll be back soon with another video, and thank you for tuning in again. Okay, talk soon, bye.